Okay, hello, my name is Mr. Navas. You probably already talked to me either in Google Classroom or this is the first time you're seeing me on the video tonight, Sunday, which I will also replay the video again for you guys on Google Classroom. It will be posted there. So this is an instructional video for our first assignment. And I have to introduce you guys into, it's a short semester. It's only 4 weeks long. So I will try to cover as many of the principles and elements of design that art has. So we will be doing a lot of drawing projects. I will be coming mostly from home because of the social distancing and the campus being closed. So you don't need a printer, and I will use a workbook, which I will be emailing you guys the pictures. You don't need to print them out. All you have to do is either look at them, read the instructions, and I will be in Google Classroom from 7 in the morning till 3. I do take half an hour lunch break during the midday, and then I come back. I did post my schedule on the syllabus, and but let's get to work. So all you need is pencil sharpener, a good ruler, and I would say at least if you have 3 old pencils, are the best. Don't start a new pencil, but if you have to only. But I like using pencils that are already sharpened because it makes the job a little bit easier. So right now, I'm gonna turn the camera around on my laptop, and I'm gonna show you what I kind of pre-started, and also show you how to do your assignment. So first of all, you're gonna have to, on all your sheets of paper. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. Let me get some more light in. Close the doors to my office. Okay, so, and if you can see this, I need you guys to write always on the top your first name, your last name, the date of the assignment, or the date it was started, and then Art 1. So we are in Visual Art 1. So what I did is basically, let me grab my ruler. I did what we call, it's your basic 1-point perspective drawing we're doing. We're going to draw a cube, a cone, and a sphere. But we're going to start off with lines first. And sorry I had to step away. I hope you can still hear me. And I will show you what we're basically would like to do. This was a painting I did in one of my oil painting classes. We always do these exercises. So now that I did my horizon line, I'm going to draw, as you can see, a vanishing point right here. I'm going to lower this down a bit for you guys. And I will put up these pictures. So I did my vanishing point right here. Now, these are notes. So anytime we draw a landscape, we position it, or call it just positioning. Okay, we call this part the atmosphere. Right, this is called the horizon line. Then we have something called the background. This is our background feel. This is our middle ground. And if you can see all the way down here, that is the foreground. So we always imagine something being framed too. We're going to lose, maybe if we put it in a frame in the future, we're going to lose this. So I'm going to use this vanishing point. I also want to talk to you guys a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, I'm wearing cargo shorts. It's hot, and I have poor air conditioning, and a t-shirt. So I would like to wear a shirt and tie, but I'm going to talk to you guys about art now. I'm going to take a little break so while you guys are drawing this. So art, let me write something down here on our notes. Okay, so art is basically scaffolded. How can you tell there are major 3 questions a lot of people, when we don't know about art. You might be able to do art, draw, paint, but can you describe it? So first question is, how do we judge art? How is art made and judged or evaluated? Second question, I'm gonna show you what I wrote down. on our little sheet of paper. Don't do it, please. Don't write down these. I just jotted these down. And this is what we're going to cover this semester. How is art made and is evaluated? What is art? And how art and design? Because basically art is designing, visual art. And the next big question was, how does art function? How does art function and create good design? Those are the big three questions. Well, this is how we judge it. In the 70s, they basically got rid of the very complex. If you major in art when you go to college, I also teach AP drawing and art history, but I'm going to focus on AP drawing next semester with my Art 2 kids, AP College Board, which I just attended. The creative systems have basically for high school level, we do a first step. We describe the art, what type of art medium it is, like drawing, painting. I'm going to be doing a lot of drawing. Also, what are elements? So the art, if you draw a lot, you do a lot of marking lines. Okay, second, how do we analyze it? Then how do we interpret? Now, basically, we talk about principles of design. In the first section, when we talk about art elements. That's the composition. That's color theory, lines, shape, form, value, which I will talk about this later on. Then we have, how do we analyze it? Design principles. Then how do they work together? How do we interpret them? And then we judge how the composition of the art elements make good principles of design, or do they function? Do they work together? And these are the design principles as I wrote down for you guys right now. We have the design principles, which is unity, variety, emphasis. What's the other one? Contrast, rhythm and movement, patterns, proportion, and balance. And they're basically how we put these together, such as line, shape, form, the art elements right here, which we call composition too. Line, shape, form, color, value, space, and texture. So we're going to be doing most of these art elements, but we will incorporate all of this stuff on top. Okay, so getting back to the sheet, I'm going to erase some of this stuff right now. A good eraser also helps. Okay, so if you have a good eraser, it's okay. If you only have these kind of erasers, that'll work too. But sometimes, even if they're old and all that, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to get rid of some of this. So now, getting back to this. Okay, so I told you, let's go back to the sheet of paper. So again, I'm going to emphasize my horizon line. I hope you can see that. And it is the afternoon. I usually like doing these projects with you guys in class. Morning light in my study is a little bit better. So here you go. Here's my horizon line. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to draw a cube. Go use a ruler. Don't freehand it like I am right now. That's a big no-no. I'm going to draw a cube right here. That looks good. I should be measuring this to make sure it's 90-degree angles. I've done these so many times. See, I just want to go freehand, but don't do like I do. Also, when you guys draw, don't go non-stop. Do small sketch lines. Then I'm going to use my ruler again, make sure my lines are nice and straight. I just have this horrible habit of, I call it going, yeah, there we go. So now we're going to do three shapes. We're going to do, I just drew two squares. Now I'm going to draw a circle. And now shapes, again, only have height and width. This is why I like doing this earlier, because I live in Lancaster like a lot of you guys. And right now, there's a lot of traffic and noise. But I'm doing this Sunday, so you guys, when you pop in. And what I'm doing here, this is my triangle. I want this to be on the background. Okay? So these are shaped. They're not formed. Notice that, guys? So I have two squares here overlapping. Try to draw them like that. Just try to copy this, the circle, and the triangle. I jumped a little bit ahead. You know that I apologize for jumping ahead, and that's a painting I'm working on. So again, you've already done those. And basically, as I told you guys, okay. So, as I mentioned, these have, again, height and width. We're going to make them into forms. Notice triangle here, the cone. I am going to start erasing some of this, but the cone's already turned into a form. And the circle has also height and width. All these are two shapes that overlap each other, height and width. And we still keep our vanishing point, and I'll tell you why. I want my light to be center here. Okay, so here's my light source. Okay, folks, that's my light source. Can you see that? And don't forget to put your first name, last name, the date, and arc 1. Okay. All I need is these notes. Okay, so I'm going to erase the H. You guys will. So we're going to erase the H and the, well, okay. Here we are. So now, it doesn't matter what kind of erasers you have. I kind of like old types of erasers. I never, even when I see people throw erasers away, I'll pick them up like pencils. So, going back, I hope you guys can see. Yes, you can. Great. So, if your eraser's worn out, that's what happens all the time. They wear out. So, grab your eraser. Whoops. Don't get rid of that. Now, I made a little mistake in design. Okay. I really wanted to put this, use this as the source, but now let's get rid of those. I'll tell you what. I'm going to teach you guys two things later on. But right now, I'm going to make this square into a cube. Those two square shapes. Here we go. Okay, so I want to make this into a solid. So I'm going to erase these. Whoops. And I just dropped my ruler, which is not good. So you will have to, let me grab my ruler again. I should grab it with my toe, but no, that's not a good thing. So grabbing this, see that, guys? See that? Sometimes you do need a really, oh, I hate pressing hard. The camera is going to shake a little bit. So, do we have to do that? No, but I want to erase this so bad right now. Give me a second, guys. Okay. So let's go back to this. I'm going to redo this again. So let's get rid of the W. Yep. So I'm going to redo another. I had an extra one. So here we go. See that? Okay. I'm going to go on top of this. There you go. You guys see that? Do you see that? Okay, good. So I'm going to start erasing some of this. And let's get rid of this. I really don't need this. We're making these into forms. And sorry about the camera shake, but reality. So, grabbing the eraser again. It's okay, you erase some of the lines you've done. I'm going to retouch them up. And okay. I'm also going to show you how to do shadow. So, good. So now, whoops. And I would say use the ruler. Okay. So he got a cube here. You can still see the ghost. Get rid of that. So now, get rid of this. Get rid of, see that? I got rid of that. So pencil erasers are as valuable as the eraser when we draw. So we're basically designing right now. So right now, don't like what I did with this line. So now, sometimes a thicker tip of a pencil will help you create a much stronger line, which I'm doing right now with this. My freshly sharpened pencil, see that? Cannot mark as good. So that's good. So now what I want to do is right here. I did an eye, I did a cross, imagine the line here, and then the almond shape. So now I have my cone. Okay, and believe it or not, it's not exactly, if I measure it with precise tools, see what we got now? So right now we have the cube, the cone, and it still looks like a circle. So we need to create shadow. And we do this by two ways. This is called hatching. These are hatching lines. Okay, so we are covering a principle of design. This is called cross hatching. So you can spread them out. If you want to make your shadow grayer, we spread out. And this is how they started in the old days for print. We're talking 1500s and 14. And they kept doing this up to the 1890s, in the early part of the 20th century, but they would use a chalk pencil and do it on a metal plate for printing. So now, this is hatching, this is cross hatching. And these are just for my notes. See that, guys? Okay. So I got hatching lines, cross hatching. This is going to help us create a shadow. Here is my light source in the center. So I want to imagine where the shadow would be for the cube. So if the light's coming from this direction, it's going to be light on top of this. And maybe it's going to spread out this way. Okay. Now there is another method you can do. And probably you guys have been doing it. This is going this way. It's called the smudge technique. You want these lines to be parallel too. So again, we do erase a lot. Okay, so you want, remember the lines are diagonal coming out this way. Shadow is. So now, using my pencil, I'm going to start cross hatching. This side's going to be the darkest. But I have if you've never taken physics, light bends. So I'm using just hatching lines, very light, not pressing that hard, but here I am. And here I'm going to start using cross hatching. So remember, this is kind of cross hatching here. But down here it's going to be the darkest. See this, guys? Okay. First. So my light source is coming this way. Direction, direction, direction. See that? So that means same thing down here. I am going to go this way. And if you draw outside, that's okay. I'm going to darken this. You know what? I just realized this. This line could have been a little bit thicker. There we go. Now, this is where we have a principle of design called contrast. Right now, the composition is the art element of light lines, and we're using valley. Do you see that? Okay, so now dark gray this a little bit more, but here I want to darken this more. And I'm going to keep this grayer. And don't do an arch. Do not come back. Just try to sketch a small line. And don't press too hard. You want the shape of the box now, or the cube, be real. This is called implied form. doesn't have, it's not real height, width, and depth. This is depth. D-E-P-T-H. We just created that illusion. So now we go here. Okay. And we're going to be doing more complicated exercises. Just we have such a short time this summer break. And that's it. So now I'm going to start cross-hatching a little bit down here. So I want my shadow to be here. Okay, so now my shadow down here on the ground. Same thing. I'm going to show you. Now here, I'm going to make it lighter, but then here it's going to get darker. Light bends, so we don't want it to, we don't want dark shadow touching the edge of the box. So we leave some of that blank. So right here, I am going to keep this lighter. Okay, folks. I'm going to darken this a bit more. Don't worry if it goes over. And I'm going to show you a little trick later on for the box. Same thing here. Too light. Let me darken this more. See that, guys? Okay. So you're doing shadow now. Hatching and cross-hatching. Okay. So I'm using hatching lines right now. But right here, this side's going to be the darkest. And I want this part to be darker so we can tell the difference between this side of the shadow. There's a different value. This is another art element. We go from light to dark. We use it with color too. But when we go monochrome, that means black and white in art. This is what we're doing. Okay, so it's not fully the same shape I have, but it's getting there. So, okay, so now I'm going to take my ruler because I want this to look like a shadow. I don't want to see a line. I want to see something where it ends. And then right here, if you see this, sometimes a good old-fashioned eraser like this works better than those big erasers. Oh, that's great. See that, guys? What a nice straight edge line it did with the eraser. So think of the eraser as your other tool. So what I'm going to do right now, see this line here? I should keep it parallel to that. Whoops, it did. And there's my shadow. I can go back again, touch it up a bit with the pencil. And then don't look too close, but notice how it looks, guys. See that? Now, another technique other than hatching and cross-hatching, this was my favorite. And you can also flip it around like I am right now. This is what I used to do. I used to just smudge it until in 7th grade, my art teacher, she got on my case about that. She told me, you can't do that. You need to start. So I am following. She's no longer with us. She was a great art teacher. She taught at the University of San Diego, the Catholic one in San Diego, and the public one too. But in the mornings till midday, she taught at our this high school I was in, this boarding school in San Diego there, Bishop Academy. But anyways, getting back to this. So notice how it's starting to look like that. Now, I should warn you guys, I'm going to give it a little window, but I'm going to shape it to the same shape. See that? It curves. It's not square, it's a rectangular curve. The lines on the sides are curving to the same shape. So that's the light reflection. You see that, guys? Okay. So now the shadow for this on the ground. It's not going to be similar like this. Spheres are tricky. They don't even touch. They look like eggs. Think of it when they shot the rocket to the moon. They never went on a straight line. They did something that looks like an elliptical shadow. And again, I'm not touching the edge of my sphere. Okay, guys. So do you see that? Okay, good. So now, same thing I did, except my lines are going to be curving now for the shadow on this. And I'm going to do 3 layers of shadow. Super dark, medium, and light. On the outer circles, it should be a little bit lighter. Okay, guys. Whoops. And flip it around. I'm going to flip it around for you guys. You know what? Don't touch it up. My biggest mistake sometimes is when I overdo it in some drawing or painting. So here you go. So I am going to gray this. Bring it around. Create my shadow. I think I made this shadow a little bit. It's really windy today, Sunday, here in the Antelope Valley. So here we go, shadow this. So it also can look like a the shell of a mussel oyster. See that? So there's your quick shadow. The cone. The cone. The cones. The last one. Some of you guys might be good at cones, others might be. So we got our cone all by itself here. So same thing. I am going to start doing the shadows. You guys see that? I flipped it around. It makes it easier for my hand. Also, I don't want to get this dirty. Now, when we draw with pencil, we call it graphite. It makes, or you can just say pencil. It's not lead, it's graphite. So this side, I'm going to blend my really dark side close to the line. I want that to be part of the shadow. Okay, and then I'm going to gray it out a bit. That's further I get, not too much. You guys see that? So now, you're going to see me do the bottom here. This is an exercise in art we do every year. If you draw, paint, and even sculpt, if you can do these three forms or shapes, really forms. The painter Degas in the 1800s, he was an impressionist. Sometimes he was influenced by, he was a realist first, and then he ended up. He said, if you can do the cone, the sphere, and the cube, you can draw anything. You just need to exercise it. That's it. You just need to exercise it. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. You can do the same thing I'm doing. It's a big no-no sometimes, but I see a lot of artists do that. So, and I'm going to gray it out here a bit. Spread out the lines, not too much. And right here, hatch it. Keep hatching. So, and if you've never drawn before, don't worry. This is that's what we're going to be doing baby steps over the summer. So I got my cone, my sphere, as you guys can see here, my cone, my sphere, and what else? My cube. You guys can touch it up, and then I need you guys to turn it into Google Classroom, okay? And I might submit this as your assignment for the week for Learn for Life. I usually work for for the Antelope Valley School District. I once taught summer school before, about 5 years ago, and since we were sent home from Highland during the break, I haven't had a haircut, so don't get shocked. So again, this is all I need for you guys to do. I would like these labels, as you can see. I do need you, when you take a picture and submit it to Google Classroom, okay, everything's digital. You don't need to print out anything. You're going to put your first name, your last name, the date, and, and it is Art 1. And we are submitting this to, we might submit this, whoops, if this works better too. You get a full screen there. We're going to submit this to Learn for Life. So these are your first 3 forms. If you've never drawn before, everything we do in drawing is this. It's a cube, a sphere, and a cone. If you look in my regular Art 1 class, since we do it for a whole semester, first assignment we do is I teach them how to I let them draw their self-portrait. Then we hide it away for 3 months, and then in December, for their final, after they've done all the exercises, the assignments of drawing, they actually do a mobile sculpture, but we don't have time, in only 4 weeks. My Art 1 students, then I pull out the old self-portrait, give it to them, and then for their final with a mirror again, they draw their self-portrait and again, and they see the growth of themselves as a designer. An artist is just a profession in the visual art world. You can be a painter, a sculptor, an architect, a furniture designer, a fashion designer, clothing. There's so many jobs you can do in art. Um, so like when I went to this conference for AP drawing, I learned a lot of wonderful things. I used to be an illustrator for a long time ago in my youth for a fashion magazine. So, and basically, it all came to this: learning how to locate a sphere, a cone, and a cube. So, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and hopefully, I can upload this before tonight on YouTube. Take care. Thank you.